how do you frame a question to get that generative? Because your questions seem to be a knack in the question you're asking. So how do you frame a good question on that to get a generative inspiration for people?
You know, if I had a formula for that, I'd be a rich man. Yeah, like I said, it's an art. I don't think it's a science. You know, and it's different in every circumstance. But I do think one of the one of the places to look is if you're caught in a polarity.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
I think a lot of times when organizations are stuck, like, you know, when they're looking for a generative solution is when they're stuck. And
mm,
oftentimes they're stuck because they're stuck in a polarity and they're in either or thinking when they need to be in both and thinking.
mm,
And so you take two poles of polarity, you stick them together, and that creates a nice kind of a
mm,
generative image, or, you know, a way to think about whatever polarity you're stuck in right now.
mm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
So, right.
a good
It's
perspective.
like stability and flexibility,
Mm,
core kind of a polarity that organizations are in, right? And it's like if you go too much in either direction, you get a problem. And we got to
mm,
figure out ways to how can we create enough solid ground so we can run fast, like, kind of thing. Like, how can we, you know, and how do we create enough stability that we can be flexible, and how do we create enough flexibility to provide the resources of stability? And so it's those both and kind of questions that I think help organizations move in more adaptive
mm.
directions.
Yeah, yeah. Your insight in polarity itself gave me an idea. There is no formula, but what I see is sometimes the organization gets stuck in one polarity, and even as a consultant, I may get drawn into it. But if I'm able to stand in the middle and see both sides and see something from here and here, maybe there
Yeah.
is a possibility to create a generative.
Yeah.
Um,
Or even to just ask the question in a way that honors both sides of the polarity. I don't know
mm,
if you or your viewers are familiar with the work of Barry Johnson.
mm,
Um, he's yeah, he's done tremendous work on identifying many polarities. And if you go onto his website, there's a polarity maps for, I don't know,
mm, mm,
50 or 60 of these things. And
mm.
he's just put out a new book called which
And
kind of is, and the book is called And because it's about both and, it's not about either or.
oh,
And yeah, and he's been writing about this for, well, he hasn't written a lot, but he's been consulting and training around it since I think the 70s,
mm,
around what's called polarity management, which is this fundamental insight that
mm,
human organization has a lot of these interdependent pairs that, you know, that we tend to polarize around either
mm,
or. And when we do that, there's a predictable sequence of negative impacts that occur, right? And
yeah, yeah,
that that what's required is both and thinking.
yeah.
And he has very useful processes, OD processes, for how you help groups, organizations kind of map out the polarities they're stuck in and start thinking through how to manage in a way that's both and, as
Mm,
opposed to either or. Yeah.
mm. This is beautiful. And who's the author? Can you say it again?
Barry Johnson.
Okay, Barry Johnson. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you. Let's see if we can.
Uh,
It wants to fade into my background because it's great. There we go.
uh,
And
okay, so this is nice. Okay.
Barry Johnson.